And if you looked at satellite images acquired in 79, early 79, you would see massive irrigation systems all around Tehran as they were trying to grow food there. If you looked at satellite images now, no irrigation systems. The current government of Iran does not believe in irrigation. And they have a point, because you're doing great damage to the surface, the soils, when you pull that water up and dump it onto the soil surfaces. But population, food supplies, serious factors. Man-made changes. This was acquired September 12, the morning after, the next day after 9/11. Why is this significant? The rescue people, the environment people were wanting to see how this toxic cloud was drifting. How big was it and what direction was it drifting? We sent them an image right away and they used it the same day. New Orleans. 2 days after Katrina hit, the dark areas indicate the drowned areas, the wet areas. And this is the 9th Ward, the famous 9th Ward where most of the flooding happened after Katrina. And we could combine information that the Corps of Engineers gave us about water levels and rate of water with a satellite image and draw a pretty good map of the extent of the flooding in the whole New Orleans area. A little closer to home, huh? There's Kingston. The plant, as I understand it, this is just a small part of a satellite image, is right here, and there's the earthen dam that had held for a long time, as I understand it. The dam broke at 1 a.m. on a Monday morning. At 10 o'clock the next morning, our satellite happened to fly over, and it was cloud-free, and we could see the outflow from that ash flood and pass that on to the environment people in the state and the local government. All right, what does it lead to? Believe it or not, we don't know everything about the planet. There are changes taking place all the time that we need to study. We need to build an archive of what happened earlier, what's going on now, and maybe then, to answer your question, can we predict what's going to happen next? Maybe. So our job is to get the data into the hands of the science community and move from just raw data to, okay, what is the significance of those data? And that's what we're really struggling with now. How to really identify what is going on and what it means. And then, if anybody is interested, if you go to your computer, you can find out a lot about what's going on. And in fact, if you have a computer, and I offer this advisedly, there is a website you can go on and see the view from the satellite right now as it's coming down over the planet. And if it's out of range of the antenna, we go to a replay from yesterday or something like that. I offer that advisedly because I'll tell you it's hypnotic. Plan on wasting an hour. You're seeing just what the view would be from 438 miles up. And I've got a handout that'll get you to that website if you're interested. Okay. I'm sorry if I went on too long. If you have questions, I'll try to answer them. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Underneath the ocean floor.
Yep.
That is dynamic. Things are happening. How are you investigating that? And what's going to happen?
NOAA is doing that. The bottom of the ocean floor, there are changes going on there too. How do we understand and how do we analyze that? Very difficult proposition. You can't send a person down there. You can send limited sensor packages down there, but the pressures are enormous because of the weight of the water. But the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration has a program that is doing exactly that. And they started as a test case over San Francisco Bay, to look at the geologic structures. The San Andreas Fault goes up along the coast of California, right up through San Francisco, and then you have the bay obscuring what's going on. But if you look at the landforms right north of the bay, you can see a continuation of that structure. So the assumption is that structure just runs right straight through. NOAA is looking into how big that structure is under the surface.
Something that is amazing to me, we are, about the faults and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There. And I was talking to a person who graduated in geology from the University of Oklahoma in 1960. He said, we were not taught that. It wasn't until 1970. The fault there, I mean, that is just amazing to know the lack of knowledge that we've had here.
And our satellites help on that. In 1984, I was working with the city of San Francisco. There was a proposal for a new nuclear power plant, when nuclear power plants were still acceptable, if you remember. And they wanted to site a new plant near San Francisco, but not on the San Andreas Fault, which you can see from land, or just from your car. Could we use our satellite images to identify any other fault structures? We identified 251 of them in the Bay Area. And our final recommendation was go ahead and build your nuclear power plant. It'll give us a nice sunset in South Dakota someday. A little facetious, but no. The geology field has expanded tremendously because of views from space. You can see the relationship between landforms and ocean forms better than we ever have been able to before. Okay. Anybody else? Yes.
Plans for future satellites when we have.
As I said, 5 and 7 are way past their design life. We're discussing with Congress right now Landsat 8. And if they wrote the check today, it'd take 3 years to build it.
Would it have better resolution or be the same resolution as the...
No, we're going to stay with we might go down to 15 meters, but no better than that. We don't want to get into the military classified data, and we're looking at landforms. I think we're going to get 8. I really do. There's strong backing behind it, and we've made our case. Not just because, okay, we're a federal agency, we need this. We've said, okay, here's why we need it. And we've not run into much resistance.
What would the cost be?
$100 million. Yep. 6 went up in 1986. It started to go up. It's doing undersurface studies in the Indian Ocean somewhere. Yeah.
Where are you getting the people that you're working for you? I mean, what schools are good in this? In meteorology, is that what you're hiring mostly?
No.
Where are the better schools in the state? Can you tell us about the educational background needed?
Educational background and what schools are we using? I'm trying to remember to repeat the question, Gail. That's an excellent question. University of Michigan, University of Kansas, University of Virginia are all very positive schools. Virginia Tech is a good one. We've hired them. The problem is, yeah, we'd like you to come to Sioux Falls and live. And I even had one spouse write and say, well, do you have theaters in South Dakota? You do have paved roads. We understand that because we went to the Black Hills. But what do you do in South Dakota? The issue is, once we get them, we can't get rid of them. The quality of life out there is tremendous. I would point out there's no state income tax. Excellent school systems, terrific park systems, educational opportunities. We did have theaters, yeah, 2 of them. But it's a good question, and it is an issue. And can they advance once they're there? We have to have career opportunities. We have to have universities nearby where they can pursue a PhD program. And the nearest big university is University of Minnesota, and that's about 230 miles away.